Hey, welcome everybody to a new episode of the Big Picture Manatee. Love seeing my colleagues here, Misty and Reggie. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey,
Great to see you guys.
You too. Well, we are back for an exciting episode about updates, and this time we're going to focus on the Manatee County Commission updates because it's gone crazy over the last 3 weeks since we first reported on this. So, everybody, welcome. We're so happy to be here for the Big Picture Manatee, where we educate, engage, and inform Manatee County citizens on topics that impact you right here in your own community. Misty and Reggie, we have a packed show because of all this. So, you know, good. Love to hear from you. What you got to say. I know we're really going to focus on each race, but there are two that are very, very interesting. So,
I echo what you said, Sherry. Welcome to everyone. Thank you all for being here. It's great to be working with you guys and talking about this exciting campaign season.
right. Let's just push this thing forward and have a little bit of fun, having some having some good thoughts and some good conversation. Welcome everyone. This is an exciting opportunity. I'm excited that the seasons are changing. The weather, the pollen is a little high, right? But we're getting that Florida
yes.
weather coming around for the spring. So I'm excited about that, along with some other things that are going on. Let's get it started.
All right. Thanks, Reggie. Thanks, Misty. So, in January, we were here and we shared with you all the current list of individuals that had filed to run. And filed is a good word, thinking about what the process is here for our local Manatee County Commission offices and what's coming up in November. But there's been some significant changes. And before we get too far into it, first, on behalf of the Big Picture Manatee, we'd like to share our condolences and prayers for Carolyn Felts' family, her friends, and she certainly had a lot of fans on her unexpected and untimely passing. And so, was a shock to everyone. And I know that everyone is really thinking about her family and also thinking about her impact on the District 1 that she served in Manatee County.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, Sherry. We all are very sad and shocked. I know that Carol passed so suddenly. I fondly look back on the many long conversations I had with Carol Felts on the phone and in person. And what I loved about her was her passion for doing what she believed was going to help the community no matter what. And as a grassroots candidate, she won handedly. And so, yeah, she was an inspiration to all of us, I think.
No.
Yeah, I can't help but reflect when I became a commissioner and Carol invited me out to meet with some of her citizens that were out there. Now, she wasn't a commissioner at that time. She was just a concerned citizen. She was, in my opinion, an activist wanting what was best. And when I went out there, it was such a warm welcome from her and the individuals. And it transitioned into her building a legacy of making sure that it's clear that she was going to be a voice and she was going to speak her mind on what she thought about, her district and making sure things were aligned and go the right way. I think her legacy will be remembered as a voice of the people, out in District 1. And our thoughts and our prayers, go out to her family, as well as the individuals that she served and that she worked for every day. And another caveat, she loved animals with her horses and things like that. And she tried to get me to get on those horses one time, and that's just probably a no-go for me. So I have some good fond memories and conversations with her, but just thank her for her service, and my hearts and prayers go out to her family and the ones that she served.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as it unfolds with how to remember and memorialize her service, there are things being discussed about various different things in the county. I know some other organizations are too, but I can remember Carol as someone who she did reach out to her constituents. She reached out to me personally a few times, given, my background with the county, to ask for clarity on certain issues, or sometimes even an opinion. But it was never in a sort of a negative or derogatory way. She was a lifelong learner. I think she was learning about how things worked, and she certainly was a candidate and a commissioner that was serving the people. So thanks for those reflections. And you guys certainly know, being commissioners, what all that means. So, we know with that happening, that the landscape's changed. And so we're going to break that down today and get to it, especially in District 1. But it also is impacting another district, which is District 6. So just as a reminder to the listeners, in regards to District 1, that under, the Florida Constitution, I guess it's actually like Article 4, Section 1F, the governor may appoint, but is not required to appoint, someone to fill the commission's seats vacancy temporarily. So from now until the election in November, he could, or he couldn't, place someone in that vacancy temporarily, until he would then also have to declare a special election is held, and that the voters then would elect a new representative. And that could happen in November. We're all kind of waiting to hear what his decision is. We know that a lot of what we're going to talk about aligns with that. I know, working in another county, we had something similar happen in 2021, and it was similar. He did end up appointing two positions in DeSoto County, where two commissioners passed away within 3 weeks of each other during COVID. And so we've seen examples nearby. So we're just waiting to hear about that. And when we do, we'll come back and explain and break that down. But before we get to District 1, let's update you on other races. And Misty, what's happening in District 2?
Yeah, so District 2 is already heating up. When we reported to you back in January, there were only three candidates that had filed. Amanda Ballard, the incumbent, she's a Republican. Shavonda Griffin, a no party affiliate candidate, as is Joe Morris, an NPA candidate. However, recently, two new candidates have filed. Ed Bailey Jr. as a Republican and Charles B. Smith as a Democrat. Now, you guys may be familiar with Charles Smith, as he was previously an elected commissioner, but he has also ran several times and been defeated. But it looks like his passion is still there, and he has filed again. So right now, he is the only Democrat that has filed in District 2. Ed Bailey Jr. is new to the political scene. He's a former aide to the current commissioner, Bob McCann, and he also was recently formally endorsed by Bob McCann. So very interesting. That district is going to be one to watch.
I don't think I've seen something like that happen before, right? Because he was the aide, but in order to run, you can't be working with the county. You can't be employed, right? So he's now Ed Bailey Jr. He doesn't work the county anymore, but interesting that Bob endorsed him.
It is. Yes, for sure.
Right. So this District 2 will definitely be a flame throwing opportunity for many involved. I won't call any names, but I'm excited for the desire to serve and finding ways to make an impact. So I always say, in situations like this, more to come. I'll take and move forward with the next one, if that's okay, as far as with District 4, and we'll look at the scene of District 4 when we first reported. I think that was back in January. Good friend Glenn Gibolino was the only candidate, but now, also a friend. I call people friends and moms, so I use that lightly. Incoming Commissioner Mike Ron has entered the race to attempt to be reelected. And as it stands now, this means that there will be a Republican primary in August for that seat. That will be something very, very interesting to watch come in August. However, there's still opportunity for others to file up until the final date early in June. I think that date is June 8th. as far as qualifying, meaning they they have either collected the required number of supported petitions or paid the fee that qualifies for them to run. And the two that we have currently are Glenn Gibellina and the incumbent Mike Ron.
Okay, well, that is that's the smallest race we got so far, right? um, but let's spend some time talking about District 6, and that seems to be the most exciting race to watch right now. And it's something of like the Wild West, I'd say, kind of, right? That incumbent Jason Bearden has publicly stated he's not going to run. Now, you know, you never know these things, but he is not filed. And so it looks like this is open. When we first talked to you guys back in January, there were 5 candidates that filed. Now, stick with me because this is getting kind of like a chess game here. Throughout the month of February, 3 new people filed. Douglas Sullivan and Tara Polton, who were both Republicans, filed. And then we had an interesting candidate file, the Big Picture Manatee colleague of Misty and I, Reggie Bellamy. Reggie, as a Democrat. And so, Reggie, I mean, we might as well just ask you here and foremost on the show, why did you do that?
So, are we going to get into that? Or are we going to go through all of it? I don't have a problem addressing that now. I think this is an exciting opportunity for me, and I've had a life of service. When I first started, you know, coming up through the Boys and Girls Club, I was taught how to give back, and I served my country. And then I had the opportunity to come through and start coaching and be an immediate impact in the community, and that led me to serving in District 2. And we were able to, you know, all 3 of us were able to work together, and there were some changes, some things that were able to get done in District 2. So that was more the immediate community. And when I ride across the bridge, I look to the east and I see the Lincoln Pool, and then when I get into the community a little bit more, I see things that have changed as far as the lights and the roads and things like that. You know, so that was for the immediate community that I was born and raised in. So this progression is natural in my mindset. You know, I've served the community, so now let's serve the county. Now let's serve the county as a whole. So me, you know, being the person that I am, just want to make sure, you know, give back and continue my life of service and focus on solutions and not necessarily size. And there's some tall tasks out there, but you know, broad shoulders and being 6'4", you know, like one of my military friends always tell me, you're built for this. So I'm excited for I'm excited for the opportunity, and we're going to see what God has next.
Very interesting.
Yes. Yes. And I love what you said as always being a public servant, because that is so true. You've been a public servant your whole life, so it only makes sense that you would want to do more of that. So good luck to you, Reggie.
Right.
Yeah. I can only think that having been in a district position before and focused on a certain area, and with what you did previously and how you've explained, you know, that this is your community, how it could be a positive that you're looking at all of the different districts in the entire community. So, well, we obviously will be talking to you later on while this election process goes on, as we are hoping to talk to other candidates as well. So thanks for providing that. I know our listeners are interested in knowing that, and also interested in the continued saga of District 6 and District 1. So as we mentioned earlier, with that unexpected passing of Carolyn Felts, District 1 seat really will not be up until the 2028 election. But now that there is a vacancy in District 1, we wanted to point out to our viewers, and as we mentioned earlier, we're waiting on the governor to clarify what will happen, but we actually had 3 of the 8 people that had filed in District 6, so follow me, 3 out of the 8 that were filed in District 6 have moved to District 1 and have now withdrawn from District 6 race and moved their candidacy to the 2028 District 1 race. Now, if you look on the website of the supervisor of election and you go up to that little line and you click on 2028, you'll see Anthony Drake, Adam Johnson, and Doug Sullivan, all 3 Republicans who have now removed themselves from the current District 6 and moved over to the vacant District 1, which will list right now as 2028. However, could become a special election. So that's very interesting. Those kinds of things don't really happen. And this unfortunate thing that happened to Carolyn Felts has created somewhat of people not knowing what will happen. So again, we're waiting to hear from the governor, but we do have 3 people who think potentially that the governor is going to go ahead and have a special election. So Reggie, 3 people have moved out of the District 6 filing. They are Republicans, though. You're the only Democrat still in District 6, and they've moved over. So we told you it was going to be Wild West, and that's what it looks like it is, because still you have Tony Barrett, John Kalavich, Ed Ferentz, and Tara Poulton as Republican candidates, and Mr. Bellamy here as the Democrat running in District 6.
Yeah, difficult to keep up with that chess game, huh?
It
Let's go
is.
back. Just an update on District 1. So far, as of today, now this is going to get very interesting because there are 8 names that show filed for the 2028 election. That's Elizabeth Arnold, Andrew Cottrell, Anthony Drake, John Dunn, Michael L. Harris, Eugene Henry, Adam Johnson, and Mark Stanich. These people are all awaiting the update if this special election will occur instead of in 2026, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess I'm thinking when we're waiting on the update, do we anticipate to hear from the governor? That's not a bad dialogue right now.
Well, I'm going to comment on that real quick. If you all remember, we had a vacancy one other time in District 1. District 1 is my district. Okay. And there was a change in the 2024 election when the governor appointed a county commission candidate to take over the supervisor of elections vacancy at the same time that year. Now, we had anticipated there would have been an appointment or to the county commission then, but the governor didn't appoint anyone. So District 1, my district, went 8 months without a county commissioner from February of 2024 all the way to the election. We had no representation. So personally, I'm not sure if there'll be someone appointed or not. There's history here of where there wasn't an appointment. However, no matter what, there'll be someone different in the District 1 position, because the governor will have to say that there's going to be this special election in 2026. So I don't know what's going to happen, but just on behalf of District 1 people that I see, they're kind of upset they don't have any representation again. And so they're hoping, I think, that someone will be able to speak on their behalf, at least from now until November. And then they'll be able to also select a candidate. So, pretty strange.
It is. I really hope that there is an appointment. I remember you guys going without representation before, and it's not good. So let's hope that someone is there to hear the concerns of District 1 and move forward. Yeah, so we'll keep watching all these races, and there will be updates coming, and we'll be reporting those periodically. You guys have anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Well, I don't have anything. I just want, well, maybe I'll do a quick comment about anticipating what's next with with the governor. Times are very sensitive now in District One, and individual District One. You know, just to echo what Sherry said, if you take the last 2 or 3 years, it looked like they might have felt like there was a little neglect there. So I'm wondering if with this going on, the people that influence the influencers are going to have that communication to the governor to potentially expedite this right here. So continuous lack of representation will cease. That would be my thought. Just just know that people want to be heard and they want to be represented. And it's we're in March now, and I think it's 8 9 months if you go without until the election. There are a lot of things that's going to take place that's going to impact the entire county. I'm not necessarily sure what specific that's out there that will impact District One, but whatever it is, clearly there needs to be some type of representation, some type of voice to bridge that gap.
Yeah, I'm just going to add that as a reminder to folks that have lived here for a while, but then also to alert those folks that are new that have moved in the last, 2, 3, 4 years, is that the districts were redrawn. So District 1 was redrawn to include not only the parish area that's growing, but in Duet but also Maeka. And so there's a lot of new people, almost 40,000 new homes in the District 1 area that are relatively new to the community within the last 4 years. So they don't really know these candidates. So it's going to be really important that people, no matter what, like you're saying, Reggie, and you too, Misty, that they're used to having representation from where they came from, and they don't understand the whole if there's nobody. So I think hopefully we're hoping that the governor's office does hurry up and place someone in there and then establish that special election. So that, with all that said, let me just say to everyone else too, and we here at the Big Picture Manatee will also are watching the school board races and the other state and federal races. And while there hasn't been as much change in those races, there obviously is some. And so we're going to come back and focus mostly on those. So stay tuned for that. And we'll be reporting back as those change, and hopefully be able to give continued updates about the Manatee County Commission.
Yes, for sure. So thanks for watching today's show. Please send us your suggestions on other topics that matter to you. You can find us at thebigpicturemanatee.com. We're also on Facebook at The Big Picture Manatee.
Yeah, wrap it up, and we'll wrap it up for things today. Remember, you'll find updates on our show on the Big Picture Manatee by subscribing, liking, and listening to us on our YouTube channel, the Big Picture Manatee.